Hello, everyone. Welcome back for some more. Let's read Higurashi. We're on chapter 5? I think we're on chapter 5. Numbers are hard as we are, you know, continuing through. Last time we did start to already get a little bit of actual like character development in the form of Rena being not normal about the Tatari, which we sort of knew, but it's like starting earlier. And everything dealing with the whole thing of you know, transferred out. It's a bit worrying, right? There's a lot of worry here, but I'm sure everything will be fine and nothing will go wrong. Some of you may have noticed I'm carrying something. Don't worry, it's just for protection. I'm a big fan of baseball. I asked for some art of baseball for Satoko, and my God, I got it. I got some good art. So, hey, thank you for those who sent that in. Anyways, good morning. What's up, Mom?
あら、
Ara.
ゆうべは何時に寝たの？
I did not sleep well last night at all. My mother could tell from a single glance. I had the worst dreams. Nightmares. Very ominous dreams, one after the other, again and again. I woke up after each one. I could never even remember a fraction of what they had been about. I kind of wish that was me. I have the opposite problem. I remember my dreams way too much. Way too much. But it was like those dreams were predicting something unpleasant. Oh, also, people explained to me some of my confusions from last time with who died when, right? What deaths were part of it. I forgot it was both the mother and father died and then the aunt died, right? Like I forgot about that. It's been a bit. And I woke up in a terrible mood. Hey now, every day has been common fun before today, right? Those days should continue on, unchanging. And yet, anxiety was the only emotion growing within me. Why was that? Nightmares reflect your own anxiety. They show an uneasy mind, that which you wouldn't normally admit to normally. Yesterday, I remember the ominous conversation about Satoshi I had with Mion, Shion, and Reina. Right. My mind felt like it was in a black fog, as we had talked about that. If I lived every day without causing a fuss, my reward would be even more peaceful days. I understood that, so why did I cause such discord? Not this time it would have been Skype, buddy. But now that I thought about it calmly, a simple verbal slip on my part couldn't possibly change the world. Yeah, as long as I'm sorry for doing it and never talk about it again, there's nothing that anyone can blame me for, right? Besides, how would my fate possibly change just because I talked about that? Nothing was going to change. Yeah, nothing would change. Nothing would change. Nothing would change. Huh.
気持ち悪い笑い。寝ぼけてるなら顔を洗ってらっしゃい。
I finally cheered up enough to smile, and Mion slapped me right back down. Or, sorry, Mom smacked me back right down. Now I was irritated again. The M-O-M kind of blurred together with a thing back there. I'm like, what do you mean, Mion? Why? What? Okay, right. That makes more sense. There wasn't much time left before I had to meet up with Rena. I frantically started to get ready to go to school.
いってらっしゃい。車に気をつけるのよ。
気をつけるほど車もいないよ。
Why would you say that, Mom? Now I'm worried.
南沢には。
I dashed out the front door. The morning air was far more refreshing than the water on my face. That's right, Keiichi Maibara. You're sorry enough about it and reflect on your mistakes. That's enough. Now let's pull yourself together and get to school, and return to fun, enjoyable days, where everyone laughs, plays, and just has a dang old good time. A gay old time, as they used to say. I'll be nice to Satoko as an apology, too. Yeah. Wasn't I supposed to be her Nini until Satoshi got back?
Ohaya.
Man, that little glitch is gonna jump scare me one of these days, for real, for real.
ケイチくん、
I know it's just a quirk of this sprite style being kind of modded in, but damn, it's gonna get me. Renna too looked nothing like she had yesterday when she said that weird stuff. I could only forget, and I could still act like nothing ever happened. So I called out to her with all the energy I could
お
muster.
うおはようレナ。相変わらず早いな。
A normal day with a normal thing to say. Okay.
おはよう。
おはようございます。
There was a little time before the same old morning homeroom began. But Satoko and Rika-chan were unusually absent. Maybe they went to play somewhere? However, looking over and seeing none of their things, so really looked like they hadn't come to school.
あれれあの二人が遅刻なんて珍しいね。
And they obviously can't be sick because, idiots never catch colds. Renna seemed to be enjoying herself, thinking about what their excuse for being late would be. Mion said something nonsensical as well, imagining how funny the reason they were late must have been. I'd only come to school to see their energetic faces, since I figured it would get rid of these feelings I have. But the load on my chest remained where it was. It wasn't very pleasant at all.
おはようございます皆さん。
Hello, my teacher who is in Tsukihime and Melty Blood.
委員長号令。起立。
Our teacher finally arrived. And finally I heard the pitter-patter of footsteps running down the hallway. Oh, wait, are you actually not feeling good? Rika-chan was the first to run through the open door. And then Satoko didn't come. Is she
遅刻で
sick?
すよフルデさん。北条さんはどうしましたか？
It was unusual for Rika-chan to be late, but equally unusual for Satoko, a ball of energy, to be absent at all. Everyone's eyes were wide at the series of strange events.
さとこはちょっと遅れるかもしれないのです。
Might be. Huh.
熱でも出ちゃいましたか？
The teacher walked over to Rika-chan and they started to talk in hushed tones.
リカちゃんが遅刻でサトコが欠席なんて珍しいこともあるもんだよ。
そうだね。だけど、さとこちゃんどうしたんだろう。風邪かな。
Why now, when I most wanted to see Satoko's energetic face? The unease that had been building up since last night tightened within my chest.
ケイちゃんは心配しすぎ。年頃の女の子にはね、どうしても体の都合で具合が悪くなっちゃう時があるの。
Oh. Is it the first... You know. Is it, Is it the first... That's the wrong color. It was supposed to be red. I'm so sorry. Anyways!
みーちゃん、それ男の子の前で言うことじゃないよ。
Or we could just normalize it because I feel like it's an important thing to know about, Actually, come to think of it, what's Japan's relationship with like teaching sex ed? Like I'm legitimately curious about that. Because, I've been in Canada, I've been in China, and those two countries are diametrically opposed to how they teach sex ed. Mion laughed indecently. Normally, I would laugh along with her, but, well, right now I just didn't feel like it. Dude, when I went to university, they gave me an anal condom. I didn't even know those existed. Homeroom ended, and we went right to talk to Rika-chan in the short time we had before first period started. You also don't look well.
ようリカちゃん。遅刻して怒られてかわいそうだな。今日は俺がなでなでしてあげよう。
I was very aware of my gloom this morning, so I strove to keep my tone cheerful. I petted Rika-chan's head the same way she always did, but she didn't cheer up at all.
みー、
さとこはど
That
う
was
したん
the
だ？
saddest meep I've ever heard.
風邪か？
For instance, she got a fever from playing around too much yesterday. If that had been her response, I would have accepted it in a flash. The atmosphere around Rika-chan felt somehow heavy. It was a little weird and actually made my unease worse.
ほらほらほら、男の子には話せない事情ってのもあるんだから。ケイちゃんはお席へ戻って戻って。
Mion, acting just like a club president, pulled me back to my chair. Rika-chan's gaze immediately fell back to her desk and she hung her head gloomily. Rika-chan said something odd that Satoko might be a little late. They were, well, living together, weren't they? Then she should have known for sure. Yeah, that's what gets me. She should have said might. I didn't understand why she was absent, and that made me all the more anxious. Damn it, what's going on today? It's like we started off on the wrong foot, and it wasn't going to get any better.
どうしたのかな、ケイチくん。今日はなんだか朝から元気ないよ。
I'm just thinking too much. I'm letting it sink in. Rena noticed how I looked and whispered to me while the teacher wasn't looking.
そんなに俺元気ないか？
うん。見てるレナまで元気がなくなるくらいに。
I thought of jokingly saying, "Then don't look at me," but I didn't even feel like doing that.
レナに話せること？どんな悩みかわからないけど、聞いて力になれることなら聞くよ。
I won't tease you. Rena said this, looking me straight in the
昨
eye.
日まで何も変なことなんか起きなくて楽しかったんだ。
Why? He's like, why did I have to start going down a route? It always comes back to roots. Huh? Rena's eyes widened for a moment, not understanding what I meant, but she remained silent and listened.
穏やかで楽しくて毎日が賑やかで、そんな毎日が繰り返されることに何の不安もなかった。
うん、そうだね。毎日楽しいよ。きっと今日も楽しくなる。
絶対にそうなるって自信が持てるか？
うん。
That was an extremely loud silence. Rena, feeling perplexed, couldn't think of something to say. I didn't blame her. What I was trying to say seemed a little confusing even to me.
思えばここ最近不安だったんだ。毎日が楽しいからこそある日ふっと電球が切れるみたいに突然真っ暗になってしまうんじゃないかって。
Wow. No, you got it. That's the game, buddy. That's the whole game.
その気持ち、ちょっぴりレナもわかるよ。
That's exactly how it is. Rena nodded gently.
私たちはいいことばかりは続かないってずっと教えられてきたから、楽しいことの裏側を時々恐れるよね。
Okay, so what's going on behind the fun? Again, my first sort of theory from chapter 1 was, if this is like some Truman Show type shit, right? But it's like a village for, like, you know, for health purposes, that they keep us sedated, right? The government's keeping us sedated. They're giving us these pills that make us relive the same days.
それってちょっぴり悲しいことだけど、
Let's see.
でもそのおかげで私たちは楽しい毎日がずっと続くように努力することを覚えたんだよ。
But then again, like, I don't even know if this is all meant to be, like, actually time rewind, or if there is some stuff going on. Is it timelines? Is it like proper multiverse timelines? Is it fake scientifically created timelines? Or is it like not actually timelines in like a Marvel sense, but just proper like, okay, here's what I mean. The different routes for Fate Stay Night, like, they're not timelines, right? Like, they're not like, I guess they kind of are, because then Hollow Ataraxia kind of makes them act like real timelines. I don't know. My brain is processing this, and like, I have a logic to it, but I also can't fully explain it. I wish I could. I really wish I could, but I don't think I can.
そうだな。
だからケイチくんが楽しい日々がいつまでも続かないかもしれないって思うのは決して悪いことじゃないと思うよ。
I mean, it actually is a good thing to sort of know that like things won't last forever. That is a properly normal outlook on life.
例えば、明日突然火山が大爆発して私たちが全員死んじゃうとする。
I picked a bad time to record this. Sakurajima just exploded. I don't think anyone died, but like everything's closed.
おいおい、物騒な話だな。
例えばその大災害をケイチ君だけが生き残ったとしたらどう感じる？
That's Fate Stay Night.
どうって。
Buddy, that is the plot of Fate Stay Night. I imagine myself being the sole survivor in the ruins of Hinamizawa. Rebel in the body. This is just Fate Stay Night. Rebel in the bodies of friends lying in heaps at my feet. It was such an abhorrent sight. Was it sadder that all my friends died? Or was it sadder that I couldn't have died with them? Actually, you know what? I do think about this, though. I think there's nothing sadder than if the apocalypse happened and you were the last person on Earth. I would rather I died with everyone. I didn't know which, but I'd probably cry a lot.
胸が張り裂けるだろうな。まず、泣くと思う。
I think that's a fair thing to do.
そしてこう思うんじゃないかな。こうなることが運命だったなら昨日までの日をもっともっと楽しく悔いなく過ごせばよかったって。
I didn't want to consider such a horrible event to be my destiny, but
思うだろうな。
楽しい毎日がいつか終わるものならだったらたとえ明日そうなっても悔いがないように精一杯楽しく生きるのが正解じゃないのかな。
it's legitimately good advice.
そうだな。
それに気づくのは
A
とて
very
も難し
beautiful
いこ
piano
と。
piece. I like this one.
多くの人たちは日々の幸せに飽食してるよ。今日と同じ明日が訪れると信じきってるから今日してやれる優しさを明日に送ってしまう。
Rena was usually cheerful and silly, but right now she wasn't like that at all. She was taking my trouble seriously. It was a little reassuring.
でもケイチ君はそれに気づけた。それはとても素敵なことだと思う。だからその不安な気持ち大切にしてもいいと思うの。
この不安を大切に。
そう、明日には大災害でみんな死んじゃうかもしれない。
If your teacher overheard this, she'd be very
だ
worried.
から今日みんなにいっぱい優しくしよう。
That is legitimately beautiful
本当に週
advice,
末が
though.
訪れた時
Wow.
後悔しないために。
No, that's like legitimately extremely beautiful advice. I love
レナ
that.
は実践してるのか。
I'm actually like, I'm not gonna say shocked, but I think it is extremely profound. You know? That idea of why you should be nice to each other. It's a little thing, but I think it's important. Huh. Okay.
明日みんなが死んじゃっても後悔しないようにさ。
It was such a hyperbolic conversation, but Rena just gave me a nonchalant nod of her head.
レナは楽しい毎日がたった一日を境に終わってしまうことを
Oh,
知
when
って
she
るか
had to
ら
leave her old school, right?
今日が楽しくても明日も楽しい保証なんかないって、生きてるよ精一杯。
It seemed like Rena perfectly understood all the anxiety I couldn't put into words. And on top of that, like a reliable teacher, she showed me what to do. Oh. Hey, Ichimaibara, there's no need to cry now.
ゆうべ、聡子の夢を見た気がするんだ。どんな夢だったかは思い出せないけど、朝
Oh,
からずっと
if
不安で。
dude, okay, for real, if she like died off screen, I'm actually going to cry.
さとこちゃんの元気な顔を見れたら安心するつもりだったかな。
She was right on the money. If everyone had been here with smiles on their face this morning, then the murk in my heart could have definitely been blown to smithereens.
じゃあさとこちゃんが来たら優しくしてあげることだね。 いつもの悪ふざけでも一向に構わない。
That is our form of
楽
niceness.
しく過ごすことができるなら。
そうだな。
So that even if these fun days came to an end, I'd have no regrets. I couldn't tell if Rena wanted me to, it couldn't tell if Rena told me, wait, I couldn't tell if what Rena told me had been comforting or just made me more anxious. But it was enough to make me think that if I saw Sachiko again, I'd be honest with her. Why did he say if? Why does he say if? That's worrying. But he should be when. Lunchtime arrived, with everyone pushing their desks together like always. Satoko wasn't here. Despite that, we had bento boxes for 5 lined up on our desks. Rika-chan made a bento for Satoko, too. So did something happen on the way to school?
さとこ、お昼までには来るはずだったの？
Oh no, something happened. Rika-chan was clearly acting strangely. We were talking to her, but it felt like she was too far away to hear us. I've never seen Rika-chan so downcast, so the rest of us started feeling down too. Hey, Rena, I understood what she said before pretty well. When we were together, we were supposed to have lots of fun, so we wouldn't have any regrets if the world ended tomorrow. And yet, well, I just resolved myself to do it. Now we can't all be together. What the hell? Because it was just so sudden, wasn't it? I mean, yesterday was fun, so who could believe it would all end today? Buddy, you're talking like she died. No volcanoes erupted, and no earthquakes or fires had happened either. The cicadas were making the same noises they did yesterday, and the sun burned brightly in the sky. It was the same normal day as always. So then, why? As I pondered, Rena's chopsticks reached in front of my face and stole the fried chicken out of my bento.
みんなが取らないからレナがもらうね。
She's trying so hard to cheer us all up.
おいしい。
She's trying so hard to be normal for us. Rena tossed the entire piece into her mouth and began munching on it, her expression one of bliss.
おじさんとしたことがレナに先生を許すとはね。よっしゃ、おじさんはこのプチハンバーグをもらうよ。
Okay. Calling I mean, I guess they call it Hamburg steak, but those are very different things.
みえ、僕のおかずがなくなってしまうのです。
There's a famous saying that man cannot survive on rice alone, except, not me. No, I'm built different. Rika-chan, also behind the curve, smiled again and went for someone else's bento. As I sat there, dazed at how quickly everyone had changed, Rena sent a wink over to me. Come on, Keiichi-kun. Live life to the fullest. That way if a volcano erupts tomorrow, it'll be okay.
冗談じゃね
I swear to God if this actually ends with a
え。
volcano
最後の
erupting.
弁当が梅干しとご飯だけになってたまるか。
Okay, no, if all you have left is the umeboshi, then that sucks, man. Those things are so bitter. Well, what are they? They sour? They're sour, right? That's the way to describe them. Acidic.
それ、俺はミートボールをいただくぞ。
I stuffed the meat into my mouth and constructed a clumsy smile. I played along as if trying to fool myself. As I did, it rapidly became less and less of an act. Satoko still wasn't here. But at some point, we had regained our lively lunchtime. We had fun, we smiled, and we fooled around. Thanks, everyone. This was definitely the best thing to do. This way, when Satoko suddenly dropped by, we could welcome her with our best smiles. The more I smiled, the more I felt the anxiety from this morning clearing away.
笑う角に福来たるってことわざあったよな。
I think I've heard that one before.
あるね。それが事実なら、おじさんは四六時中笑い転げてるよ。
What?
レナは本当だと思うな。
I think something there was slightly lost in translation.
毎日笑ってれば毎日が楽しいよ。
Oh. Comes in by a merry gate, so you're gonna... Okay, I get it.
レナがいいことを言いますです。
じゃあ、試してみるか。
Everyone took a deep breath and brought their face together, locking shoulders. And then... That was a terrifying moment. Everyone laughed uproariously from their stomachs, trying to laugh out all the bad stuff accumulating in them. That was a Final Fantasy X moment. By the time our bento boxes were empty, everyone was right as rain. This is actually so sad. What happened to Satoko? I'm legitimately worried. Like, I hope she's okay. All the talk about cars now has me extremely worried. Did she get hit by a car? Did Satoko get... Did she get isekai'd? Having heard our friendly banter, Tomina-kun and Okamura-kun walked up and timidly spoke to us.
前原さん、楽しくお話し中、申し訳ないんですけど、ちょっとお力をお借りしたくて。
What's up, little dudes? They grinned dryly and scratched their heads.
なんだよ一体。テストの対策法は以前教えただろ。
Okay, That's not what he said in Japanese. That's not what he said in Japanese.
ちなみに、千恵先生が授業中、と含み笑いを教科書で隠した時が次のテスト範囲だ。
How the frick would... They don't print it below.
そうなんですか?
That's not what we're here for, said Tomina-kun, elbowing Okamura-kun.
実はですね、ボールが2階の雨どいに引っかかっちゃったんですよ。
Ah, call that a gutter ball.
前原さんなら身長高いからなんとかなるんじゃないかと思って。
ほう、先輩に物を頼むからには何か見返りがあるんだろうな。
What's the price,
それは
buddy?
高いぜ。簡単に買収できると思うなよ。
Tomina-kun and Okamura-kun conversed in a short time and then gave their reply.
では、前原さんには授業中に居眠りができる権利を与えましょ
How
う。
the frick did we get that from
そ
you
れで
guys?
どうです？
なんだそりゃ。授業中に寝るのは俺の勝手だろ。なんでお前らに権利をもらわなくちゃならんのだ。
そんなことないですよ。今度は前原さんが居眠りしたら、
Oh.
全部先生に言いつけることにしますか
Oh,
ら。
cool. So you're threatening me. That's not so much of a... Don't encourage them.
なるほど、うまいうまい。
こいつらとんでもない交渉の仕
Yeah,
方覚えやがって。
That's crazy bargaining. That's also crazy, like, car noises.
すみません。ちょっとした冗談っす。
ほらほら、ゲイちゃん。おとなしく後輩たちの脅迫に屈した
I
ら。
mean, just go get the ball. It's a little thing to do. And now Mion was getting on my nerves. Something came to me, and I took Tomina-kun and Okamura-kun's hands. What?
わかった。俺の降参だ。ボールを取ってやるから、居眠りの権利を俺にくれ。
Okay.
見ろミオン。俺はちゃんと権利をもらったぞ。でもお前はもらってないよな。富田君、岡村君、ミオンが居眠りしたら、
Ah.
すぐにチクれ。いいな。
The double revenge. Ren and Enrique's Chan began to cackle at Keiichi-kun's victory. I wasn't sure how the ball managed to get stuck up there, but it was planted firmly in the school building's second floor
そ
gutter.
の棒を貸せ。俺なら多分届く。よいしょ。だ。
I took a bamboo pole and poked the ball with it. Damn, it's hard. Come on.
取れた。取れましたよ、前原さん。どうもありがとうございました。
The ball rolled down the gutter and fell behind the school building. My underclassmen ran over in that direction, leaving me by myself. Mission complete, I guess. Sheesh. There's still a lot of time left until lunch break was over. Yes, I should go back to the classroom. I'd absorb myself in a silly conversation with everyone and wait for afternoon classes. And then the music stopped. Just when I thought that, and turned to... Oh, no. Just when I thought that and turned towards the entrance, someone suddenly called out for me. Oh my god, I swear to god if it's him. Remember-san? Oh my god!
こんにちは。
Why are you here? What happened?
お昼休み中すみませんね。
I'm literally not in any crimes or anything. It was a middle-aged man I didn't know. Or maybe I'd passed by him a few times and seen his face, but I didn't know him. I swear to God, what are you here for, old man? When his half-smile deepened, something within me shuddered with fear. There was no basis for that, no reason, but I shuddered. I was somewhat confused about those emotions, not quite understanding them myself. There was one thing I could say, though. Nobody but teachers and students should be at school. This person shouldn't have been here. This person is an eyesore. I felt less of a tremble and more of a sense of dread. Like a cat. Oh my god, this song. Like a caterpillar, brilliantly colored and garish, bilious greens were crawling across my forehead. A feeling of disgust that neither itchy nor gross could describe as the frizzy, dreadful hair rubbed against his brow. Oh, you hate him. I didn't even want to see his face. I wanted to jump backwards and run away. An unpleasant feeling for which I didn't even know the cause. The other side of myself. Once again, there's a lot of references. Like, I pointed it out, but there's a lot of talk about the other side of myself, right? The other side of myself has nothing but questions. Hey, what are you doing? What are you disgusted by? This is the first. Now, I know it could be a metaphor, but I don't know. There's too much of it to just be a metaphor for talking to yourself. It's the first time you've met him. It's rude to hate someone for no reason. No answers were coming. I held my silence, waiting, a damp sweat running down my forehead. When he saw that, Oishi thought maybe he was being intimidating and gave me a relaxed smile.
ああ、失礼しました。怪しいもんじゃないんですよ。
That's not a thing a mysterious adult should be saying on a playground to a child alone at a school.
ふんふん。私、沖宮警察署から参りました。大石と申します。あれ、手帳どこかな。あれ、参ったな。ありゃ
He fished through various pockets and finally found his police ID and showed it to me, grinning dryly. He may have been trying to use those clumsy, seamy actions to ease my anxiety, but I could definitely say it didn't work. Why was I this nervous? There was a reason, of course. If I wanted today to be the same as before, then today didn't need someone who hadn't been here back then. The fact that a man who wasn't here yesterday showed up today meant that today would be a different day than those before it. That would mark the end of the fun and happy days. I gulped and erased that ominous conclusion from my mind. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. He's just an old guy who looks kind of perverted and came from the police station. Don't go deciding the fun times are over. He just came over here because of his job. Yeah, just for his job. If he's working, then he would normally go to the teacher's lounge, right? The fact that he spoke to me, well, yes, it must just be to ask where it was.
職員室をお探しですか？ならあそこの昇降口から入って。
I didn't want to look at this man for another second, so I started pushing things along. Oishi, however, didn't seem to have any interest in the teacher's lounge.
ああ、いえいえ。職員室にはそんなに用事はないんです。それより、お友達を呼んでもらいたいんですが。
What?
お願いできますかね。ふんふん。
お友達？誰です？
Satoko
女
Hojo?
の子です。
Well, buddy, that is most of my friends.
北条さと子さん
Oh
を
no.
呼んできてもらえませんか。
Oh no. My consciousness grew faint, like I was about to pass out. Yes, my anxiety was realized. The dreadful, disgusting caterpillar was looking at me, about to crawl into my ear. Its frizzly, dreadful hair was touching my ear cavity. That's how bad it felt.
警察が聡子に何の用ですか？
いえいえいえ、大した用事じゃないんです。兄さん、聞きたいことがありまして。
That's concerning. That's a concerning number of things. If someone said the police have one thing to ask you, I'd be like, okay. If they said the police have 2 or 3 things to ask, I'm leaving the country.
ご協力をいただければ嬉しいんですがね。
Why? Why, of all people, was it Satoko? Why would a police officer come here in the middle of the day for something that wasn't important? This man was strange. I could smell it, and it smelled bad. Just a whiff of it made me want to grimace. I knew that this man couldn't possibly be here to deliver her lost wallet or anything. I couldn't imagine what he needed from Satoko, but it had to be something unpleasant. My throat stung with burning pain, burned like a parched, creviced wasteland. The wasteland broke apart deep in my throat and brought out the words from deep in my mind.
あんたに用はあってもサトコにはないと思います。
It's a bold move to say to a police officer. Let's see how it plays out.
帰ってくれませんか。
God, his smile worries me every time. I wish he probably hadn't expected that reply. He stood there surprised for a few moments. I did as well. I hadn't thought words like that could ever come out of my mouth. Things might still work out. This guy may have shown up out of the blue, but if I drove him off, maybe I could just make it so it never happened. If I could do that, then I could get back the peace I had until yesterday. I could get it back.
これは手厳しいな。あなた、さとこさんのマネージャーさんですかな。アポイントメントがないと面会は叶いませんか。
話がしたいだけなら電話ですればいいじゃないですか。
Why don't you call her?
日中学校にまで押しかけてくるなんて明らかに異常です。
Breaking through a dam would have been a perfect analogy to use. Why didn't I like this man? This man shouldn't have been here. I needed to make it so this man wasn't here. I need to deal with this man. Childish, selfish emotions bubbled up from the depths of my mind, and they came out of my mouth just as it had been formed. Not liking the guy was my own problem, but to say things so bluntly to him, even I thought I was crazy.
ありゃ、いちいち正論な方ですね。こういう言い方をする人は苦手なんだよな。
He's like, oh no, this child is self-awareness. They're aware I can't just use my police powers. Wishi grinned and scratched at his sweaty throat. Even as he feigned stupidity, I could tell he was irritated. Hey, Kichi Maibara. Why am I looking for a fight with this old policeman here? It's not like he brought the gift of misfortune with him all wrapped up in paper, right? Right. It wasn't like he brought a package of misfortune with him. He was asking me to sign here, please. Rationally speaking, I understood all that, so then why was I so... Finally, I outlasted Oishi in our game of silence, and he gave a big sigh. Then he addressed a few of my female underclassmen running around nearby.
もしもし、君たち、ちょっといいですかな。北条聡子さんを呼んできてほしいんですがね。
My underclassmen tried to smile in a reply, but they noticed the oddly stiff air atmosphere around me and seemed hesitant to give a quick answer.
いませんか、北条聡子さんは。
北条さんは今日はお休みですけど。
I don't know if we should have said that.
休み。
Oh, that's a worrying face. His face remained it very clearly didn't, but his tone was clearly one of ill humor. Such conspicuous spite caused my underclassmen who had answered honestly to cringe in fear.
そうですか。いやはやいやはや。これはついてないです。
He was smiling broadly, but the way he laughed didn't make me feel better at all. When he noticed that his laughter wasn't getting anyone else to laugh with him, he immediately stopped.
で、君たち、ここにいるお兄さんは、なんて名前か教えてくれますか？
Didn't he say our name? I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty certain. Sorry to interrupt you. No, I guess not. For some reason, I assumed he said our name already.
ん
He grabbed the girls by the shoulders. Oh my god! Oh, this guy's the worst. He grabbed the girls by the shoulders so they wouldn't run away and crouched down to address them at eye level. Girls flinched away from the sharp, piercing light in his eyes. And in exchange for their release, they didn't resist and told him my name.
ほう。
Oh no.
前原圭一
Oh
さん
no.
ですか。
Oh no. He said my full name. That was all he said, and yet I couldn't help but shudder. It was like he grabbed me by the collar just with those words.
ああ、あなたひょっとして例の前原屋敷の御曹司。
No, this could be a ploy. He could say this to everyone to freak him out.
お父さん、高名な芸術家さんなんですってね。年に2回ほど東京の大展覧会に出展されてるそうじゃないですか。
It's okay, you can call it Comic Head. I know what it is.
どんな立派な絵を描かれるかは存じませんがね。
Girls, maids, you
お
know.
母さんも知的そうな方じゃないですか。高学歴って聞きましたよ。どこぞの女子大を出られてるそうじゃないですか。
Oh god, no, you do know me.
あの年の女性で女子大でなんてすごいですよ。ひょっとしてお母さん、両家のお嬢さんなんじゃないですか。なんて噂が立ってるせいか。冷たい人だなんて噂が立てられてるなんてご存知で。町内会の会合、最初の1回以外は出てないでしょう。
Maybe she just thought it was boring as shit and decided staying home is better.
そういうのっていけないんですよね。こういう土地では。ご近所付き合いをないがしろになんかできませんよ。
Don't give me this homeowners association BS in a small town. Sense of eeriness just slithered up my spine. That was my first experience of true terror. I couldn't believe I felt this terrible for someone you've just met to know everything about you already. I wish he clamped onto my shoulders and brought his eyes close to peer into mine.
こういう土地ではね、敵は作らない方が絶対にいいですよ。さもないと。
What? Oh my god! I wish she dug into my shoulders with inhuman strength.
思わぬところで
Oh my god.
不利益を受けるかもしれません。
Did he do the old man handshake thing where, like, when old people shake your hand and it's way too strong and it hurts you?
因果応報という言葉もありますよ。風が吹けば桶屋が儲かるの正反対です。
I think karma and the butterfly effect are two entirely different
妙
things.
なところで買った恨みが
I think no, I
信じられ
I
ない
don't
ところ
think
で
you're
返って
using
くる
that
こと
term
がある
right.
かもしれません。そうなったら嫌でしょう。誰だって恨みなんか買いたくないんです。敵を作らないに越したことなんかない。
This is terrifying.
どうしました？肩がだいぶ凝ってますね。ちょっと揉んであげましょうか。ほら、気持ちいいでしょ。
I have no idea. So I talked to a number of people, and I've seen a number of people who weren't like, they didn't get the vibes of him being bad in the first chapter. To that, I say, you're crazy. He's obvious, like, he's always like, people are like, wow, why is he so evil now in the second chapter? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's always been like this. This is how he's always been. You just, you couldn't see, right? You couldn't see, but I didn't trust him from the get-go. And it's a good thing because, man, he's getting worse and worse every chapter. Ow, 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 ow. Man wasn't just strong, it was like he knew exactly where to press to make me feel pain. Only 4 or 5 fingers were on my shoulders, yet the pain made me want to bend over backwards. Ah, a few of the girls from my class were pretty shaken up, but didn't seem to want to help me. They weren't sure if they should go call the teacher. As for me, well, I couldn't take the time to wait until the teacher got here. It hurts.
もうそれくらいになさってください。
Oh, thank you.
痛がってますよ。
え
My savior, who's gonna probably get killed off screen now. Hinoishi-san, someone. To my disbelief, it was Coach.
おや、これは入江先生じゃありませんか。
Doctor? Doctor? Because, I mean, sensei we would normally use, like, because here's the thing. I wonder if this is just, like, maybe potentially giving us a little bit of a spoiler. Because sensei is used for both teachers and doctors, right? But in this case, it's specifically Dr. Irie.
ご無沙汰しておりますね。
That's interesting. Discomforted by Coach's sudden appearance, Oishi laughed scornfully. The vice on my shoulders, however, remained as strong as ever.
挨拶はいいです。それよりも、前原くんを話してあげてください。
Oishi smiled daringly and glared straight at Coach. He didn't release me in the meantime, of course.
先生のところにも後でお伺いしようと思っていたんですよ。いつもお忙しいとかで、ろくろくお話ができませんからね。
ええ、お望みとあれば、いくらでもお話を伺いますよ。でもその前に、令状をお持ちになってください。
Damn. He knows his rights.
職務質問と任意同行は拒否できますからね。
Coach didn't display a shred of the weird behavior he'd shown at the baseball game and barbecue. He stared steadily at Oishi and fought so that he would release me. His chances were terribly bad, of course. Compared to the relaxed Oishi, Coach seemed like he was being defeated mentally. It made sense. Coach had a somewhat narrow stature, but Oishi's body was packed with muscles. It wasn't even a contest. Coach was fighting for me without taking a step back. Beads of sweat formed on his face, and though he paled, he was fighting for my sake. Suddenly, Oishi laughed and let go of my shoulders. My body exhausted, I fell right onto my
前
backside.
原くん、大丈夫ですか。
くそ。いてててて。
I rubbed my shoulders where Oishi had latched onto them. The pain from falling over went away quickly, but this pain was lingering.
大丈夫ですか、前原くん。ひどいことを。
くそ。いててて。
ちょっと肩を揉んだだけじゃないですか。前原さんも少し大げさすぎですよ。男の子はもう少し我慢強くなっちゃ。
Dude, you suck ass. I wanted to retort, but I couldn't think of anything
肩
witty.
は上がりますか、痛みますか。痛みが強いようなら、ちゃんと診察をした方がいい。とにかく保健室へ。
Coach lent me his shoulder and walked beside me.
大げさですね。私に限って傷が残るような真似をするわけがないじゃないですか。ねえ。私、これでも現職の警察官なんですよ。
This is interesting because I feel like there's not a ton of Japanese media that goes into police brutality, just because it's kind of a different thing there. But boy, geez, is this seemingly going that route.
さあ、どんなご用があったか存じませんが、もうご用がないならお帰りよ。今日のことは、今度所長さんに直接抗議しますから。
それは困りますね。
Oishi-san waved his hand sarcastically, pivoted around, and headed to the car parked by the school gates. Without turning back around, he got in and started the engine. Damn it. Who the hell was he? Damn
あい
it.
つは大石クランドという乱暴者でね、村中に嫌われている男です。前原さんも用心した方がいい。
Kuraudo Oishi. Just like I thought, my gut instinct wasn't wrong. He would be the one to bring unhappiness, misfortune, something that would ruin my peace. Our peace. Shit, I won't accept it. All these fun days can't possibly be end just because some guy like him showed up. I won't accept it. Coach seemed to be familiar with the school, so he brought me to the nurse's office without much trouble. The girls from my class came along as well, looking worried. Our teacher and the principal, having noticed the disturbance, came to see what was the matter.
前原くん、どうしたんですか？怪我でも。前原さん、さっき校庭で変なおじさんに。
They literally said, yeah, weird old man. Coach gently interrupted the girls trying to explain.
いえ、ちょっと転んでひねったみたいです。
Oh.
大丈夫だとは思いますけど、念のためと思いましてね。
Now, why are we hiding this from
保
her?
健室をちょっとお借りいたします。
I hope you'll talk to her in private after.
入江先生、よろしくお願いしますぞ。
The principal gave him a deep bow. It looked like Coach was acquainted with the adults of the school. He slid open the doors to the nurse's office, but there wasn't a nurse or anything. I'd figured. I'd never seen anyone but Chie-sensei and the principal working here. Coach didn't seem to mind the fact that there was no nurse and quickly made his way into the nurse's office. He instructed me to sit down and started washing his hands in the sink. Oh, I get it. He's the coach for the boys' baseball team. He must be pretty used to treating wounds with first aid.
ちょっと患部を見せてもらえますか？まだ痛みます。
いえ、もう全然痛みません。本当に大丈夫です。
I rolled up my shirt and showed him my shoulder. No bruise, not even nail marks, and yet it hurt so much I thought my shoulder would be crushed. Even the pain had disappeared without a trace. It hurt so much, but not so much as a bruise
それ
remained.
だけあいつが慣れているということですよ。
A police officer with a technique to cause intense pain that leaves no mark is terrifying. Used to it,
今度会
huh?
った時は挑発しないことです。あいつを怒らせて得をすることは何もありませんからね。自宅に制服警官を連れて押しかけてきたら、ご家族だっていい気持ちはしないでしょ。
それは確かに。
しかし何があったんです？前原さんがあいつと喧嘩になるなんて。
あいつ、里子に用事があるとか言ってきて。
え？里子ちゃんにですか？
Coach's gaze lowered and his expression clouded a bit. Somehow that gesture seemed to be saying Oishi was bound to come to Satoko and did, and that it was no laughing matter. Coach fell silent in thought. Quietly, he took a compress out of the first aid kit and put it on me.
あの男はまだ里子ちゃんに付きまとうつもりなんでしょうか？
Clinging to her? What do you mean clinging?
本当に蛇みたいにしつこい男です。
What do you mean by that? Coach mumbled to
付きま
himself.
とう？
Yeah.
あの大石っていうやつ、たびたび里子のところへ来てるんですか？
Coach didn't answer, but the lack of denial served well enough. What on earth did the policeman, probably like a detective or something, need from Satoko? What mistake had led a detective to cling to the sweetly smiling Satoko?
前原さんは、そうか、引っ越してきたばかりでしたね。
ええ、そうですけど。
お社様のたたりと里子ちゃんの話は少しは聞いたことがありますか？
Uh-oh. Well, I knew a few things about it, certainly.
里子の両親がダム計画の賛成派で、転落事故で死んだのはたたりだって話ですか？
Coach smiled thinly and dryly. So you know, he said, dropping his gaze. If I recall correctly, there was an accident on a viewing platform at the public park she'd gone to with her family, and her parents died. And then it was just big brother and little sister. Right, we don't know about the aunt in this timeline, right? And then she was with Rika-chan and...
ご両親が亡くなった里子ちゃんとお兄さんのさとしくんは、おじ夫婦宅に身を寄せることになりました。
And it was the uncle who ran away to go with the mistress, yeah.
あ、そうなんですか。
The parents died in the accident and Satoshi ran away, leaving only Satoko to live with Rika-chan. I'd known that much, but this is the first I heard about them being brought to their uncle and
お
aunt.
じというのは さとこちゃんのお父さんの弟にあたる方なんですがね。
Okay.
残念なことに夫婦揃ってちょっと尊敬に値する方々ではありませんでした。
That's the nicest way you could say they were shit people. Coach normally picked his words politely, so when he came out and said they didn't deserve respect, it made me really wonder what kind of people they were.
さとこちゃんの両親がダムに賛成していたとばっちりで、おじ夫婦も村内ではとても肩身の狭い思いをしていましたからね。さとこちゃんたちを歓迎するはずもなかったんです。さとこちゃんたち兄弟にとってとても辛い生活だったと聞きを読んでいます。
Bit by bit, Coach told me the numerous agonies the Hojo siblings had suffered at their uncle's house. As their guardians, their aunt and uncle sucked up everything belonging to the immediate family. Satoko and Satoshi were crammed in a small room, and their lives were laden with things that were miserable. Oh, no, I don't like where this is going. I don't like where this is going. Things that were miserable for both their bodies and minds. In the first place, since apparently their aunt and uncle weren't on good terms, there was no end to the fighting. And as in revenge for that, whenever they saw Satoko or Satoshi's face, they always find fault with them, scold them, yell at them, strike them, and take away meals as punishment.
今思い出しても、今の元気なさとこちゃんしか知らないあなたには
Oh my
土系色
god.
の顔をしてただ日陰でぼーっとしているだけの彼女など想像もつかないでしょう。
Oh my god. I couldn't imagine it. I didn't want to. That was how I honestly felt. But at the very least, Satoko wasn't like that anymore. She may have had her miserable life in the past, but it was different now. Something happened to change that life.
去年の綿流しのお祭りの夜にね、おばが死んでしまったんです。
God, you know what's real bad when your life turned for the better, when the people you're with died and you became a super orphan living in the nut shack with another super orphan.
異常者にバットか何かで殴り殺されて。
You don't say. Right? You just don't worry about it.
綿流しの祭りの夜には村の旧敵がたたりで死ぬと噂されてましたからね。この死も単なる殺人事件としてだけでなく、お社様のたたりではないかと村中でささやかれました。
A few days later, the deviant arrested for drug use confessed to further offenses and the incident was resolved. Was it super weed? Was brother on that? Them sticks that will kill you if you have one? However, though it was resolved, no one knew whether the part about it being Oyashiro-sama's curse was true or not.
おじだってひなみ沢の人間ですからね。お社様のたたりを大層怖がり、逃げ出して雲隠れしてしまったそうです。聞いた話では沖宮あたりの実婚の中の女性宅に転がり込んでるとか。
Intimate lady friend, huh? That's the word we're using? Okay. Yeah, and we now know that she's dead.
それで解放されたんですか？
Which nothing says that yeah. So nothing about this has said that he's been killed. Which, yeah, that's a bit worrying.
さとこたちは
おばは死に、おじは逃げ出し、誰も兄弟をいじめる者はいなくなるはずだったんですが、まるでその後を継ぐように、
Oh my god.
あの男が執拗に現れるようになったんです。
あの男？
Again, Coach lowered his voice just a bit as if being aware of his
大
surroundings.
石です。
大石、さっきの男。
The events that just occurred came back to me. The hard to describe ominous sensation I'd felt from him came
あ
back
い
to
つ
me.
は少しおかしいんですよ。お社様のたたりをめぐる一連の事件はみんな解決しているのに、あいつだけがそれを認めていないんです。
Accept it. The incidents were all solved and the detectives supposedly with the police department didn't accept
あ
that?
いつが近づく人間には必ず何かよからぬことが起こると言われています。ひなみ沢ではね、大石のことを
Oh.
お社様の
Oh, no, why did you stop it? The door flew open with a rattle and Mion came rushing in. Ren and Rika-chan came running in a few steps behind her, and then Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, and a few more of our classmates.
ケイちゃん、大石にやられたの？
Can you, like, send your Yakuza after him,
怪
please?
我を？
落ち着いてミオンさん、怪我はありませんよ。念のため尻尾をしているだけです。
ケイチくん、本当に大丈夫かな？
No, but for real, Mion, can you, like, send your people, please?
みんなに聞いたら
Now's the
首を絞め
time.
上げられてたとか言ってて。
I mean, shoulder isn't strength. Well, no, it kind of
落
is.
ち着けよレナ。肩をすげえ痛く握られただけだ。ほら、あざだってないだろ。
みー。
Thanks, Rika.
たく、あんたら何やってんだよ。仲間だろ。なんでぼーっとしてたんだよ。なんでケイちゃんを助けなかったんだ
Oh
よ。
my god, she's mad.
ごめんなさい、委員長。
You're kind of yelling at children for not going after the police officer whose body was 99% muscle, but... Mion yelled at her classmates, baring her fangs. Tomita-kun and the others hung their heads in silence.
よせよミオン。富田君たちはその場にいなかったんだ。責めるのはよせ。
くしょう。大石のやつ。
Mion kicked the floor with her heels a few times, her temper running hot. Our teacher, overhearing the commotion, arrived as well.
こらこらこら、保健室で騒がしくしてはいけません。委員長、みんなを連れて保健室から出なさい。
ほらみんな、もう行こう。ケイチくんは大丈夫だって。ほら、みーちゃんも。
Mion was letting her emotions get the best of her, so Rena stepped in instead and led everyone out of the nurse's office. A detective from Okonomiya Station, Kuraudo Oishi. It looked like the first impression I'd gotten from him hadn't been mistaken. Setiko's absence had amplified the vague apprehensions I'd felt since yesterday, and Oishi's appearance basically sealed the deal.
さて、じゃあ私はもともと千恵先生に用事があってきたんです。
Oh? Oh? I just realized this mofo is holding 2 sets of glasses.
あ、用事があって学校に来たんですよね。俺なんかのために。どうもすみませんでした。
Don't be so humble, he said, smiling easily.
おかげで役得と言いますか、前原くんのきめ細やかなお肌も存分に堪能できましたよ。
Okay, no, I do think after these conversations, and, you know, a little bit of thinking about it, I think he does just like to say shit to literally, like, he's a rage baiter, right? I think he just is, but boy, geez, does it work.
はふー。
With the usual for Coach anyway, parting words, he instead continued.
では失礼します。大した怪我ではありませんが、患部を揉んだりするようなことはくれぐれも避けてください。もしも高熱が出たり腫れたりするようなことがあったらすぐに連絡してくださいね。
Are you actually like a licensed
そん
doctor?
なことはないと思いますが。
あ、そうだ監督。さっきみんなが来る直前、
Yeah, no,
何か言ってました
continue.
よね。大石のことを
Yeah, please do.
お社様のなんとかって。
As he was about to leave the nurse's office, Coach placed a hand on the door and stopped.
ああ、お社様の使いですよ。
Okay. That was probably the most obvious word.
もちろん悪口ですがね。
お社様の使い？
前原さんはひなみ沢で毎年綿流しの夜に起こるひなみ沢村連続開始事件、通称お社様のたたりのことはご存知ですか？
This is probably something you shouldn't be talking about, but I'm glad he is.
連続開始？え？
Now that I thought about it, I did seem to remember overhearing Mion or someone in class talking about it like a ghost story. On the festival day in June, one person would always die and another person would be spirited away, but they seem to call it demoning away here. What a fine story that was. I figured they made it up to scare me, but it was true?
一体どこの誰が言い出したのかも、いつの頃からか大石のことをお社様の使いと、
なぜですか？
あの男がと噂されているからです。
Whenever June came around, I almost called him Oyashiro. Oishi-san would start paying frequent visits to
亡く
Hinamizawa.
なったり消えたりする人たちの多くがあの男の必要な訪問を受けているからです。
4 years ago, it was known that the victim of the dismemberment, rumored to be the sacrifice, had been seeing Oishi numerous times leading up to the incident. The sacrifices 3 years ago were Satoko's parents. Right before their accidental deaths, Oishi had apparently visited their home. The one who disappeared 2 years ago was Rika-chan's mother. And again, people know that before she vanished, Oishi had been talking to her extremely frequently. The one who disappeared last year was Satoko's older brother, Satoshi. Satoshi too had apparently been approached by Oishi many times before he vanished. He doesn't get it, honorific. And then this year. This time, Oishi was trying to contact Satoko.
冗談じゃないです。
噂ですよ、前原さん。そういう噂がある。
I hadn't said that because of the rumors of Oishi being Oyashiro-sama's servant, or his contacting someone foreshadowing, or his contacting someone foreshadowing who would be the sacrifice that year. It's because the ominous hatred I felt towards Oishi was becoming more substantiated, more real. Just like how I hated Mr. Beast when I first heard of him, and now literally every little thing that's coming out is revealing that I was correct, and that everyone else was wrong. Anyways.
さとこ、今日、欠席したじゃないですか。
え？そうなんですか？
That looked like news to Coach. I thought he might have known why Satoko was absent today, but...
では失礼します。前原くんも
Yeah,
早くみんなのところに。
please go check on her.
そうですね。
Please.
そうします。
Please. Clatter. Coach left the nurse's office and headed towards the teacher's lounge. Oh man. This is a bit worrying. Are we gonna go see her at night, or... Research notes and Oishi's post memo. Research notes. Better left untold. Learn Satoko's secret. Why is it a red ball? Oh, the ball on the roof. All right. Well, it looks like... Oh, okay. It looks like we're doing proper, like, police work, right? So, well, we got to get into the right headspace. So, give me a moment here. All right, here we go. Now we can be proper police reporters and not commit a brutality. Research notes. The Hojo family. Every year, Oyashiro-sama's curse claims 2 victims. This means that with 4 years in a row, there have been 8 now, but it's worthwhile to note that half of them have been members of this family. Note, the curse on the 2nd year, a certain falling instant, involved the death of Hojo, a dam proponent, and the disappearance of his wife. She was pronounced dead the following year after being considered to have vanished under perilous circumstances. The curse on the 4th year involved the death of the Hojo siblings' aunt, who was then their foster mother, and the disappearance of the elder brother. The Hojo family is a poor one, and it's hard to say Mr. Hojo's job went very well. Apparently, upon re-employment via family connections, there was a plan for them to return to the home of the mother's side of the family. For Mr. Hojo, the eviction due to the Hinamizawa Dam project and the payment of a large amount of compensation money was essentially a windfall. Oh, they were poor and that's why they went for the thing, yep. Mr. Hojo actively embraced the Ministry of Construction's negotiations from an early stage and was selected as a representative of the dam proponents. It was rumored that he had been bought out by the Ministry of Construction for doing so, but the truth is unknown. However, the dam's proponents were in the vastly outnumbered minority. In addition, as the Sonozaki family strengthened its own foundation and promised support against the dam, all the proponents, save for Mr. Hojo, switched over to the anti-dam side. At this point, Hinamizawa was completely united against the dam, and Mr. Hojo was held up to ridicule as a stooge of the dam's project proponents. He was essentially used as a scapegoat for the anti-dam coalition. In the end, the dam project collapsed with Oyashiro-sama's curse and the dismemberment incident. However, punishment towards the bitter enemies supporting the dam project continues to this day. There are not many left today who supported the dam project, nor who had a negative reputation at the time. If there were any candidates left for the curse, It's the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year, Teppei Hojo, and Mr. Hojo's daughter, Satoko Hojo. Strangely, these two are the only candidates left. Will this year's curse come down on them too, on the two of them? There is more than enough value in observing them both. Okay. Oishi's post memo. To Oishi-san, there was a call for you from Section 4's Chief Shigeharu. Apparently, the slaughtered corpse in the Ojikawa River is related to the S group as we thought. We're still verifying what happened behind the scenes, but apparently the deceased filled up dozens of self-created fictional bank accounts to the limits, with money from the S group reaching around 100 million yen. So here's the thing, you hear that and you're like, that sounds illegal. And then you look into what actual organizations and CEOs are doing, and that's just called good business. Basically, we need to kill Elon Musk. It appears there were 3 or 4 men with former S group in Minecraft. 3 or 4 men with former S group connections involved in this. They've already disappeared along with millions of yen. The deceased was tortured on that point for information, and she was clearly slaughtered as an example to others. There are apparently some real wizards chasing down the people who disappeared. Hopefully they're not written by a transphobic author. They're also spreading letters related to related Yakuza groups not to harbor them. There's still no evidence that Teppei Hojo is one of those people. As far as Chief Shigeharu could tell, he hasn't been told anything. He was her pimp. She didn't trust him at all, did she? Okay, we're actually just straight up using the P word. Okay, that's good. The space there makes me think that was a censored thing that was reinserted. Teppei Hojo has left the apartment in Okonomiya and has returned to his Oh no, he's back in Hinamizawa. Oh no. Teppei Hojo, oh no, has returned to his former residence in Hinamizawa. Oh, that's concerning. That's scary. That's real worrying. All right, gamers. We will be back next time for chapter 6 as we continue on with Higurashi here. Oh boy, again, I asked us to jump into the deep end, and by God, we've jumped right into the deep end to a point where I'm actually seriously terrified of what's going on. I honestly find the human stuff way scarier than any of the supernatural, because how do you fight? How do you fight a corrupt police officer when you're a child? There's nothing you can do. You're just screwed. So, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time for some more. Bye. Yo.